What a damning report released by Columbia University's Graduate School of Journalism this weekend on the now infamous Jackie story published in Rolling Stone magazine last November. Recall, the author of the piece made a number of intense and sensationalistic rape claims about a campus fraternity house. Specifically, the story centered on a single account by a University of Virginia student who alleged she was gang raped by 7 members of the Phi Kappa Psi fraternity, while 2 others allegedly watched and encouraged the attack. The piece gave rise to a national conversation about rape culture being endemic and ubiquitous on university campuses. People were led to believe that college boys were running rampant, raping everything in sight. There were protests, the frat house was vandalized, names of members tarnished, reputations smeared. The frat was even compelled to suspend its charter at the university, all because of what we now know to have been the irresponsible journalism and gross incompetence of the author of this hatchet piece, Sabrina Rubin Erdely. A police investigation now originally cleared the frat of any involvement in this alleged gang rape, but now a new report by Columbia University goes one step further in laying the blame square at the feet of Erdely and Rolling Stone magazine. The report states the failure encompassed reporting, editing, editorial supervision, and fact-checking. The magazine set aside or rationalized as unnecessary essential practices of reporting that, if pursued, would likely have led the magazine's editors to reconsider publishing Jackie's narrative so prominently, if at all. Imagine that. The magazine rationalized as unnecessary essential practices of reporting that, if pursued, the story would not have been published. Rationalized as unnecessary essential practices. Why might that have been? Why might this magazine have put aside the basics of fact-checking that journalists are trained from day one to do? Well, the managing editor of Rolling Stone answered that question in a New York Times interview last December when he stated this: the article stemmed from a feeling he and other senior editors had over the summer that the issue of unpunished campus rapes would make a compelling and important story. Sounds like this magazine had a predetermined ideological point that they wanted to pursue, and as evidenced by how the story played out, facts wouldn't get in the way of pushing that storyline. The author has since apologized, sort of. She wrote, "In the case of Jackie and her account of her traumatic rape, I did not go far enough to verify her story. I allowed my concern for Jackie's well-being, my fear of re-traumatizing her, and my confidence in her credibility to take the place of more questioning and more facts." In case you didn't notice, there was no mention in her apology of the fraternity she stomped all over. Not only that, it's also been revealed that this so-called journalist will continue to write for the magazine. You'd think, in light of this damning report, that heads would roll. Someone would lose their job over this. No. Are you as incensed as I am? There seems to be this belief among the left that, oh, well, this journalist's intentions were good and pure because rape culture is a real thing and requires exposure. Except that this story is the perfect example of how rape culture is based on a contrived and distorted narrative, not reality. We often hear a statistic that 1 in 5 women on college campuses has been or will be sexually assaulted during their time at university. Even the President of the United States has peddled this statistic. The statistic, by the way, has been massively discredited by researchers time and time again. But what does that matter if it advances a predetermined narrative by the left? Not only does this report reveal the decline of journalistic standards in our mainstream media, but it should also make us question the very premise of this original thesis. Because exaggerating accusations and perpetuating stereotypes is something that both victimizes non-perpetrators and, because of carelessness and haphazard reporting, undermines the credibility of actual victims of sexual assault.